So if you ask the majority of people out there about knowledge and wisdom, they might come to think that this is the same damn thing. But in reality, these are two totally different games. So without further ado, let's break this bitch down. So knowledge is, on a very simple terms, what you can grasp, what you can kind of absorb into your brain through external means. So if I read a book, that's knowledge. If I go to a class, that's knowledge. If I'm watching a video, that's knowledge. I'm just spreading knowledge, man. I'm not spreading wisdom yet, because we'll get into that, don't worry. So that, in a very simple terms, is what knowledge is. It's like being able to read a sign, or read a book, or read a page, or whatever it is, and take that information and plug it into your own brain. But that information is still external. It still came from another source. It wasn't internalized by you. And that's where wisdom comes into play. If you went through a certain situation and you learned from that situation, which hopefully you are learning from your situation, you're not just brain dead going throughout life like an NPC and have no idea what the fuck's going on. That is wisdom. That is internalized knowledge from life itself, from just living. If I jump off this little rock ledge I got right here and into the water, and I break my legs, that's wisdom, understanding that, hey man, you should maybe check the water, how deep the level of the water is, before you jump in. It was internalized. So next time that happens, bro, I will know not to do that. And that's one of the main differences between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge doesn't really hit you, doesn't really get internalized within you until you eventually turn that knowledge into wisdom through whatever the universe might throw at your way. Whether it's a traumatic situation, maybe it's a euphoric situation, no matter what it is, that internal way of you going back to that knowledge and clicking it two together between the external and the internal, and putting them into like essentially linking them together, synergizing them together, it's what forms wisdom. And wisdom truly is what's going to allow you to blossom in life, because everybody's path is totally different. There's a verse or scripture in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the best spiritual books out there, undoubtedly. If you haven't read it yet, go read it. It's simple to read, it's beautiful, one of my favorites, and I'm gonna keep rereading that over and over and over again. But the verse or scripture I'm trying to point out is Krishna talking to Arjuna, his devotee, and he's saying that if you try to follow somebody's wisdom or knowledge to a T, it's gonna be completely different than if you just were going about your own life, gaining your own wisdom. Like two paths, not every path can be the same. Everyone's on their own unique journeys in life, and when wisdom really comes into play is understanding that I am completely on a different playing field than this guy, than this guy, than that guy, than that guy. And there's no reason for me to really compare myself to these people, because they got a certain set of wisdom. Yes, we might have the same knowledge, but they also have a certain set of wisdom that I cannot replicate. Like certain situations in my life that I talk about maybe on my main channel or here on the second channel, you might pick up the knowledge I'm giving to you, but until you go through that situation, through that circumstance, and you use that knowledge and you gain that knowledge from it, and you plug it all in together, you won't really connect with the wisdom. That's why it's so important to, when you watch these self-improvement videos, when you watch these read these self-improvement books, or get into spiritual knowledge and stuff like that, is to actually take that information, the understanding of it, and plug it into the real world so you can actually get a better understanding of it. Let me repeat that again. When you take this information from external means and you understand it on a surface level, that's great. But when you take it to the next level is when you plug it into your life and you go through those situations, and those pieces of knowledge basically become flashbacks for you. Oh man, I should do this. And you do it in your own way, and it becomes your own wisdom, because we could do the same thing, read the same books, watch the same videos, get the same knowledge, and go through the same circumstances, but the way we approach it with that knowledge is what's gonna create our own wisdom. That's why so many different philosophies formed out, because they're all kind of connect back to each other. They all have similarities, but it all comes down to how did you understand that concept? How did you actually make it tangible to your own experience in life? Because without that, basically you're kind of just following a set of rules without ever really thinking outside the box. What these type of pieces of knowledge and pieces of information should do for you is act as a guide. Like, that's what I hope the most with my channel, with my content, with my brand, and with my message, is to act as a guide, to help point you maybe when you're veering off. Okay, maybe this might be a better choice, bro. But at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your choice. But this is what helped me. It might help you. I'm not here to tell you have to do this, this, and that. And that's what you have to understand about these pieces of knowledge. These aren't so cookie cutter, boxed in, and just so direct to the point where you can't use your imagination and use your, like I said before on probably the last What the Fuladi talk, use your feminine side of your brain, the intuitive side of your brain. Don't get so logical and analytical, like I gotta follow this complete to the T, because that's only logic and knowledge. What about intuition and wisdom? You might not think that a feminine side can get intuition and wisdom, because you're just like, okay, wait, guys are smarter, this, that. Like, you might be thinking that, but no, the feminine side is what really takes in the information from your experiences and formulates them into a way where the masculine side can understand. Wisdom. You get what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? So the main point I'm trying to make is understand that your life is going to be written in a totally different style than everybody else. Than everybody else's self-improvement journey, everybody else's spiritual journey. Yours is going to be unique in its own right. Yes, we're all similar and connect back on a core level, but the way you perceive it is going to be completely different. Like, the way you might go about your meditation is going to be completely different than me. Maybe your night routines are going to be completely different than me, but the same basic principles go into it. That's knowledge. The wisdom is understanding how it connects and correlates and comprehends into a cohesive manner into your own life. Wisdom is very individualized, but it's universal at the same time. So don't get so caught up when it comes to this journey of becoming the best version of yourself. Don't get so caught up in this very nuanced details of everything. Once you have the base foundation and core components, dude, let life and the universe take you where it needs to go. Because if you try to follow everybody else's way, you're gonna become very frustrated in life. Like, there's this analogy of being chained to like a car or like a horse or something like that. And that's the universe, that's God, that's whatever you want to call it. And you have the knowledge that you gotta use the universe to your advantage. But if you're always going against the grain of the universe because you want to follow everybody's rules and regulations that you heard on YouTube, that you heard on a book, on a podcast, the universe is going to be trying to pull you this way. Hey bro, I'm trying to show you, yes, take some of that information, but there's more, there's a different path. You're not supposed to go here. Like, I got a different plan for you. Follow me. Like, let's go this way, motherfucker. And you're either gonna get stuck, you're gonna get fucking dragged on the floor, or you're gonna learn how to flow with it. Wisdom, that's where wisdom comes into play. Wisdom allows you to flow with life better. Knowledge helps you to kind of like plan out things and make it in a way so it's logical, where you kind of think that you have control, but the intuitive side, the wisdom side of you, understands that yes, these rules are great, these rules and overall knowledge is great to help me stay grounded, but sometimes I gotta let go of the wheel and let the universe take the driver's seat from me and put me in situations where I can go back and use this knowledge and then formulate in my own way where I really don't just understand it but understand it. Because you can read all the fucking books, watch all the podcasts, listen to all the videos on YouTube, and you still won't understand what these guys are saying, because a lot of these people, a lot of these books, a lot of these pieces of knowledge is people's wisdom compartmentalized in a way where everybody can take a little piece from it. You won't get the whole thing because that person had to go through a certain set of life ups and downs to get that wisdom, but he's giving it to you in a very packaged way where you can take that knowledge, plug it into your life, and figure out your own wisdom. So it's really that simple, but I've noticed a lot of people, even myself, will get too caught up in the very logical aspect of things, especially if you have a more masculine side to you. Because the feminine side, I'm not saying you gotta be girly, you gotta be, oh, I'm macho. Like, I'm saying I'm masculine in the sense of I gotta either see the reasoning behind it, I gotta see the kind of like the end goal, the end path, the end stepping, the end, like basically steps to the ultimate goal, or it's gonna be hard for me to grasp the concept. But I'm learning slowly but surely, especially when it comes to the spiritual path, to kind of detach from that and be in a more of a flow state where things can come and go in a very unexpected way, in a very spontaneous way, in a very just overall way where life just speaks to you in just random occurrences. Like you go to this new place that you don't really know the people around you, the environment around you, and you just start getting synchronicities, and you start plugging, you start connecting the dots between your knowledge and the experiences, and eventually form your wisdom. That is probably the most ultimate form of understanding life. Because at the end of the day, bro, you got all the answers within you. I'm just trying to show you that these things helped me get some answers, so they might help you. Take that knowledge and figure it out in your own way. If you don't want to do it specifically to the T as me or anybody else out there, by all means, go figure it out by yourself. Because that's what life is all about, bro. And maybe you can hop on YouTube, maybe you can write a book and tell other people that thing too. And this just becomes a snowball effect, chain, like it just builds a huge chain of causes and effects that just helps the overall collective consciousness of humanity. So that's what I got for you today, man. That is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. You got to understand that there's a difference between understanding and understanding, and there's a difference between grasping concepts with the mind and actually internalizing it within the soul. Ooh, man. Let me say that again. There's a difference between grasping concepts with the mind and internalizing it with the soul. You got to have both. You can't have one or the other, because if you're just strictly knowledge, like we just said in this whole video, you're never going to let the universe speak to you and give you different occurrences in your life to actually put it all together. Because if the universe keeps trying to do it to you and you keep rejecting it or trying to get dragged on the floor, like that analogy I said, it's going to stop. You're going to lose. You're going to miss you're going to miss the train. You're going to miss your bus stop. You're going to miss the synchronicities that's thrown out into your face. It's going to be like, all right, bro, this guy wants to remain asleep. Let him remain asleep. I'm not going to force him. I'm the universe. I don't give a shit. Like, this is just going to keep going on without me caring about this guy or not. You feel me? And if you're too on the feminine side, on the wisdom side, on the intuitive side, you're never going to be able to actually use this information. Like, it's just gonna feel so like woo woo and like, oh man, like only I can experience this. Like, what does this mean? Like, you gotta break it down and understand it on a very surface level for you to plug it in to the other areas of your life, because you might have wisdom about this area of your life and it helps you, but that same wisdom can help the other areas of your life that you're struggling on, but you don't know how to like make comparisons or make correlations between the two, because you don't have the conceptual mind on your side. So that's what it is at the end of the day, balancing the masculine and the feminine side of your minds. I think I said this on the last video, but it's a reminder, and it's another way you can understand this concept in a broader sense when it comes to knowledge versus wisdom. So there it is, man. That's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains. And I'm out here. Peace.